shoulders down and back, and perhaps close your eyes as we start to take a body scan head to toe, starting at the crown of the head. And just at your own pace, allowing your awareness to float down all the way to your toes, stopping at any points of tension, allowing your breath to maybe soften that area. And when you're finished with your body scan, just coming back to your breath. We'll open up our practice with the sound of Om. If you'd like to join in, please feel free. Or if you'd like to just listen, that's perfectly fine too. So we'll start with a cleansing breath. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll inhale to Om. Om. Returning to your natural breath. If you'd like to set an intention for class, you can do so now. Maybe a word or a phrase, something that you're personally working on. Or maybe you'd like to come along with the collective intention today, which is new beginnings. New beginnings. Whatever that means for you. Maybe being open-hearted, open-minded. Maybe there's a lot of excitement that comes along with new beginnings. And we'll move into our pranayama practice, breath work. You can keep your eyes closed or softly blink them open if you'd like. You place one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest. We'll start by taking a deep inhale through the nose, sending the breath all the way to the belly, feeling it rise as you move the breath up through the ribs and then the chest and the shoulders. And as you exhale, reverse from the chest, ribs, and belly. Inhale, sending the breath all the way to the belly as you rise that breath up to the ribs, chest, and shoulders. And then reverse, chest, ribs, belly. A couple more here just on your own. When you're done with your last round, you can return those hands back to your lap and return to your natural breath. This next pranayama we'll do is a retention breath. If you're not feeling like holding your breath today, no worries. You can come back to that 3-part yogic breath or just continue with your natural breath. Retentions are safe for everybody. However, if you do have high or low blood pressure, or you're pregnant, or maybe just experiencing some anxiety with closing the breath, please feel free to skip it. So we'll start with a cleansing breath, deep inhale and an exhale. And on our next inhale, we'll inhale 3/4 lung capacity, and we'll hold our breath here for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, releasing all the air out of your lungs. Take a deep inhale through the nose. And then exhale, releasing all the air out of your lungs. And then at the bottom of your exhale, we're going to hold our breath again for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep inhale through the nose. And exhale. And then we'll inhale 3/4 lung capacity for our last retention for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then return to your natural breath, taking a few cleansing breaths. The next breath we'll be doing Anuloma Viloma, or alternate nostril breath. We'll be using our thumb and our ring finger to hold our nostril and just breathe out of one nostril at a time. We will be touching our face for this one if you're not comfortable with that. Due to COVID or any other reason, you can feel free to just imagine the breath going in one nostril and then out the other. Where attention goes, energy flows. You could also use your fingers to, when I cue, to plug the right nostril, you could bring your right finger and thumb together, and then the same thing on the other side. And you can also just try this at any time if you want to just try it and see how it feels for you. Maybe at one point during our practices, you could try that version. I will be cueing alternate nostril breathing with using our fingers. So we'll start by bringing your right hand, your peace fingers, placing them right in between the brows and then maybe just a little higher for your third eye chakra. You could massage it a little bit if you'd like, going one direction and then the other. And then we'll start by taking a deep inhale through the nose. And then we'll close the right nostril with our thumb as we exhale out the left nostril. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then inhale through the left for 3, 2, 1. Plug the left nostril, plugging both nostrils now. We're holding here for a retention of 12 counts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the right nostril and exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the right. 3, 2, 1. And then plug that right nostril, holding for a count of 12, settling into the stillness. No breath in, no breath out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the left and exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the left. 3, 2, 1. And then hold that nostril, holding for a 12 count here. Settling into the stillness. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Releasing that right nostril. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the right nostril. 3, 2, 1. And we'll do our last retention here, holding both nostrils for that count of 12. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that left nostril. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then release, bringing your hand back down to your lap, taking a couple of cleansing breaths here. Anuloma Viloma, alternate nostril breathing. We did 2 rounds of this. Sometimes we'll do 2 or 3 rounds. And then we'll start with our seated stretches. So when you're ready, we'll take a deep inhale, bringing those arms all the way up to the sky. Maybe your gaze follows. As you exhale, right hand comes down by your side. Inhale to lengthen through that left arm. And then exhale, fold over to the right. Keeping both sit bones glued to the mat. Your gaze can be either down or up, depending on how your neck feels this afternoon. Take another breath here. And on your next inhale, we'll bring that right arm nice and tall, reaching it. And then exhale, left hand comes down by your side. Inhale, lengthen through the right arm. And then exhale, folding over to the left. Gaze can be either down or up. Nice stretch through the side body. Beautiful. Next inhale, we'll bring that arm up to reach the other. And then on our exhale, we'll fold forward, bringing our hands down to the mat, allowing our back to round. Head comes down, let the head hang heavy. And on your next inhale, start to rise up. You can bring your arms with you, biceps by the ear. And then exhale, drop those hands back behind you. Fingers can be pointing away from you as we shine the chest forward. You can dip the neck back a little bit if you'd like. You could even come up off your hips and let your hips shine forward, pressing those knees into the mat. Take another deep inhale here. And as we exhale, draw that chin back down to your chest, bringing the hips down if they were lifted, coming back to neutral. Beautiful. We'll take an inhale, arms reach up. And as we exhale, twisting over to the right, bringing that right hand behind you to serve as a kickstand. Left hand comes to that right knee. Think about lengthening on the inhale and then twisting on the exhale, gazing over that shoulder. Next inhale, we'll unwind, bringing those arms back up to the sky. And as we exhale, twist over to the opposite side. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale to twist. On our next inhale, we'll come back through center, arms reaching up to the sky. And then we'll exhale, folding forward one more time, bringing those arms out long, letting the head hang. Take another breath here. And on your next inhale, rising up, bringing those arms back with you. Exhale, hands drop down by your side. And we'll take that chest opener, just leaning back, letting your chest shine forward. You can prick the hips up if you'd like this time, or just keep them grounded. Maybe allow the head to fall back a little bit this time. Take one more inhale and exhale here. Inhale together. And we'll exhale, bring that chin back to chest as we come back to neutral. And we'll work our way onto our hands and knees for tabletop. You can roll over your hands, your knees, or you can bring them out to the side, coming onto your knees. If you have a blanket that you'd like to put under your knees, you can do so. Grass feels pretty soft if you're not like on a tree root. So taking a moment in our tabletop pose, pressing those hands into the mat, fingers are wide. You're looking in between your hands or maybe just a little bit out in front to maintain that straight spine all the way from the tailbone up to the neck. Knees are hip width distance, tops of feet are on the mat. Slight tuck of that tailbone, and then a slight engagement in the abdominals. So maybe I could put a small child on your back and you could safely hold them on your back, or maybe a cup of coffee or tea. You could place that on your back and it wouldn't spill. Take another inhale here. And as we exhale, shift those hips back, coming into child's pose. Your knees can be as wide as you'd like to. Forehead comes to the mat or maybe a block. If this is too much on your shoulders, you can always bring your arms back by your side, or you could even grab opposite elbows and maybe rest your forehead on your hand. So child's pose is a resting pose. You can come to child's pose anytime that you need a break. Take another inhale and an exhale. And on your next inhale, start to rise those hips back up into your tabletop. Bringing those knees back in if they were wide, hip width distance. And then maintaining those hips directly over your knees. Start to walk the hands forward, coming into puppy pose. Reaching that forehead down to the mat. You could always bring a block in to rest your forehead on, melting your chest in towards the mat. We call this melting heart in our yin practice. If it gets to be too much on your shoulders, you could always grab opposite elbows. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, you could come up onto your fingertip. As you inhale, start to walk those hands back underneath your shoulders, lifting your upper body. And then from here, we're coming to our down dog. So curling the toes, lifting those hips up and back, downward facing dog, pressing those palms into the mat. Fingers are wide. You could walk the dog if you'd like here by bending one knee and then the other. You could shake your head, yes, no. Anything that feels good here for you. And then finding that stillness, reaching those heels back towards the back of your mat. Hips are lifted up and back. On an inhale, we'll bring our right leg back behind us, toes pointing down, hips level. And then mindfully bending through the knee as you open up through the hips, stacking the hips one on top of the other. You could look under that armpit and see your toes, maybe give yourself a little wave. Next inhale, we'll bring that leg back behind first for three-legged dog. And then exhale, we'll bring that foot down, finding downward facing dog. Next inhale, left leg comes up and back behind, toes pointing down, hips are level. And then we'll mindfully bend through the knee as we stack those hips, opening up the hips to the side of the mat, looking under that right armpit, maybe seeing those toes. Next inhale, bringing that leg back into three-legged dog. And then exhale, plant that foot, downward facing dog. Take an inhale as you look to the top of your mat, coming up onto your tiptoes, bending the knees, and then exhale, start to walk to the top of your mat. Forward fold. You could grab opposite elbows here if you'd like. And then if you are grabbing opposite elbows, releasing the hands back down to the mat. On an inhale, slowly rising up, one vertebrae at a time. And once you get to the top, roll those shoulders down and back. Shine palms forward in our Tadasana mountain pose. You can close your eyes here. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Feeling those feet rooting into the earth. Slight bend in the knee. Slight tuck of the tailbone. Lifting tall through the torso. Shoulders down and back. A slight tuck of that chin to find that nice straight spine. Crown reaching towards the sky. Rooting into our feet as our crown reaches to the sky. Let's take another breath here. If you'd like to bring some blocks in for your sun salutations, bringing those up to the top of your mat now. And we'll take an inhale together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms come up, baby back bend. And as we exhale, we'll fold forward. The arms can either stay by the ears or you can bring your hands through heart center. Inhale, right leg steps back, coming into our low lunge here. You can keep that back knee lifted or you can lower it depending on what stretch you're looking for today. You could also bring those blocks in to place your hands on. Stacking joints, knee over ankle. Shining that chest forward, looking out along the horizon. Let's take another breath here. And if you had those blocks, moving them off to the side, planting those hands. We'll bring the left foot back to meet the other on an inhale, finding our plank pose. We'll take one breath here in plank pose. And we'll take an inhale. And as we exhale, coming into worm, so knees will come down, chin and chest will come down, making that W shape, that kind of funky worm thing we got going on here. And as you inhale, we'll drop the hips and lift the head and chest, finding our baby cobra. So we'll stay here for a few breaths. Tops of the feet are on the mat. Little to no weight in the hands, using that low back to help lift you. Take another deep inhale here. And as we exhale, we'll push back into down dog. You can come straight into down dog, or you can come through tabletop, or perhaps you take child's pose first and then come into down dog. From down dog, we'll take an inhale, right foot steps forward, finding that low lunge. Back knee can stay lifted, or you can bring it down to the mat. You could bring those blocks in if you'd like to place your hands on. So our knee is over our ankle. If you start to notice that it's a little bit in front, you can walk that foot forward a little bit, just finding that alignment so we can find our safe poses here. Take another breath here. And then if your back knee was down, curling those toes, lifting that back knee up. As we exhale, bring that foot up to meet the other. Exhale, forward fold. And then as we inhale, we'll rise. You can bring those arms with you. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Shine those palms forward. So we'll take an inhale together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold forward, arms either by your ears or hands through heart center. We'll inhale, left foot comes back. As you retain your breath, right foot comes back into your plank pose. Exhale, knees, chest, chin come down into your worm. Inhale, drop those hips, lift the head and chest cobra. And then we'll exhale, pressing back into down dog. Inhale, that left foot steps forward. Exhale, other foot steps forward, forward fold. And as we inhale, rising up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Shine those palms forward. Beautiful. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, the right foot steps back. Retain that breath as the left foot steps back. Exhale, knees, chin, chest come down. Inhale, drop those hips, lift the gaze. Exhale, press down to down dog. Inhale, right foot steps forward. Exhale, left foot steps forward. And then inhale, we'll rise. Hands come to heart center. Shine palms forward. So we'll do this one more time, adding in some creative postures here. And I'm going to get my lefts and rights correct this time. So we are going to step back and forward with our left foot. So we'll start with an inhale here. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale to fold. Inhale, left foot stepping back. We're leaving that back knee lifted this time. And when you're feeling ready, nice and solid in your legs, rise up. You can bring your arms with you if you'd like. You can bring your hands to heart center, or you can place them on your thigh, having that knee over your ankle. And then we'll take an inhale to straighten through that front leg, pivot on that back foot so it's parallel to the short edge of the mat. Bringing those arms out to T, we'll exhale into our warrior two. So we want our knee over our ankle. You guys will hear us say that a lot. We're stacking our joints. Bring those shoulders down and back, relax. Gaze can be over those front fingers, or maybe you want to just look forward, pressing into the knife edge of that back foot. If you need a break at any time, feeling free to drop the arms or straighten the leg to take a breath. So we will hold our warriors for several breaths. Strong warriors, beautiful. Take another breath here. And on your next inhale, we'll straighten through that front leg. Exhale, hands come to heart center as we walk that back foot up a couple of inches, bringing those arms back out to T. On an exhale, we'll hinge forward, dropping down into our Trikonasana triangle pose. So this bottom arm can just rest on the inside of that calf, or maybe you want to bring a block to rest your hand on, or maybe it reaches the ground. Top arm is reaching up to the sky. If your shoulder needs a break, you can always bring that arm down, maybe bringing it to the low back. Imagining you're in between two panes of glass, so really opening your chest up towards the sky. Slight bend in that front knee. Take another breath here. On your next inhale, we're going to reverse those arms, keeping those legs right where they are. And then exhale, windmill those arms down, pivoting on that back foot, bringing the front foot back to meet the other on an inhale. And we'll exhale, come into our worm, knees, chin, chest. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps forward, finding that low lunge, keeping that back knee lifted. When your legs are feeling good, start to bring the arms up with you, or the upper body. Arms can come with you. Maybe they come to heart center, or maybe they just rest on your knee, whatever feels good for you. We'll take an inhale to straighten through that front leg as we pivot on that back foot so it's parallel to the short edge of the mat. Exhale, reach those arms out to that T as you bend that front knee into your warrior two. So our hips in warrior two are working towards shining towards the long edge of our mat. Our gaze is over those front fingers or just forward. Arms reaching away from one another, shoulders relaxed. Knee is stacked over your ankle. Pressing into the knife edge of that back foot. We'll take about 3 more breaths here in our warriors. On your next inhale, we'll straighten through that front leg. Exhale, hands come through heart center. Walk that back foot up a few inches. We'll inhale, bring those arms back out to T as we hinge forward, dropping down into our Trikonasana triangle pose. A slight bend in that front knee, arms reaching away from one another. You can always bring that top arm to your low back. It can just create a little bit more of a chest opening and also give that shoulder a little bit of a break. Your bottom hand can just hang out on the inner side of your calf, or maybe you want to rest it on a block, or maybe it reaches the ground. Take another breath here. On your next inhale, reverse those arms, painting the sky with those left fingertips. And then we'll exhale, windmill those arms down, pivot on that back foot, plant the hands, bring the back foot up to meet the other, forward fold. And then we'll inhale to rise. Exhale, hands through heart center, and shine the palms forward. Beautiful. So we're going to come into our balancing sequence next. If you want to step off of your mat, coming onto the earth, sometimes it's kind of cool to do balancing right on the earth. Whatever your preference is, we have a lot of space here. So coming into tree pose, start to bring the weight into the left foot. As the right knee pivots out to the side, you can bring that heel up to the ankle. Toes can be placed on the earth here. Or maybe you want to bring it up to the inner calf. Or you can grab a hold of it, bringing it to the inner thigh. You just don't want to be pressing on that knee joint, because that can cause some problems, or fragile knees. So your hands can be at heart center if you'd like, or maybe you want to grow your branches. You could lift them up, and maybe they blow in the breeze, or maybe they're still. Whatever feels good for you. Beautiful. Having that drishti or focal point on something in front of you that's not moving. We'll take one more breath here. And then we'll release the foot from the leg, bringing those knees together as we reach that right arm around, grabbing the inside of that foot. Left hand can come out in front. You could find that mudra if you'd like. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you start hinging forward, keeping those hips facing forward like they're headlights, just shining forward to the short edge of your mat. Kicking the foot into your hand into your foot. We all have different range of motion and flexibility, so we're all going to look different in every pose that we do. It's a beautiful thing about yoga. Take another breath here. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, release that foot, slowly bringing those hands down to the mat or the grass. As your right leg lifts up back behind you for standing splits. You need to tap that foot down at any time. Go for it, taking a break. Hands can come down to the earth, or you grab a block, maybe even 2 blocks to place your hands on. Let's take about 2 more breaths here. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, bring that foot back to meet the other. Forward fold. We'll take a breath here and forward fold, maybe 2 breaths. Releasing any energy, maybe releasing some heat. And when you're ready, on your next inhale, slowly rise up. Coming back up to standing. Beautiful. Shake it out if you need to. Grab a drink of water if you need to. We'll come into that other side. So finding a place that you'd like to stand, start to bring the weight into the right foot. Hands can come to heart center. As you start to open up that left knee, toes can stay on the ground as you kickstand that foot. And you can bring it up to your calf. Maybe grab a hold and bring it to that inner thigh. So if you're up on your inner thigh, pressing your thigh into your foot into your thigh. Hands are at heart center, your waist, or maybe you grow your branches. Finding that drishti, that focal point of something in front of you that's not moving. Slight engagement of the abs. Let's take about 2 more breaths here. And then we'll release that foot from the leg, bringing those knees together, reaching the left hand around, grabbing the inside foot. And the other hand can come out in front, finding that mudra if you'd like. As you start to hinge forward, if you'd like, or you could just stay standing, thinking about those hips shining forward. coming out of it at any time, and then just coming back into it when you're ready. Take about 3 more breaths in our dancer pose. And then from here, we'll release that foot. You can tap the toe down if you need to, or just come on down, bringing those hands to the mat or the grass or a block or 2 blocks or whatever is accessible for you as you reach that left leg back. And no worries about how high that leg comes back. Just kicking it up as high as feels good for you. Taking a break anytime you need it. Return that foot to meet the other. Forward fold. We'll take a couple of breaths here. You can take some open mouth exhales if you'd like, just to release anything. Come back to your breath or your intention. And then when you're ready, slowly rising up. Beautiful. We're going to work our way down to our mats with a slide transition. If your knees are bothering you today, feel free to just come on down to your mat however you'd like to get there. If you want to take the slide transition, we'll start either with the hands at heart center, or you can take your zombie arms as we come up onto the tippy toes of our feet, and then just start slowly sliding down, imagining you're sliding down a wall, going as slow as you'd like. And once you reach the bottom, hugging those knees and giving yourself a nice squeeze. And then eventually bringing your hands behind you as you come onto your sit bones, coming all the way down onto your backs, onto your mat for a little mini Savasana. Our first mini Savasana of our practice, a chance to absorb your practice so far, a chance to rest. Start to bring some awareness back to your body. Start wiggling the fingers, the toes. Maybe turn your head side to side. Maybe inviting some bigger breaths into the body as we get ready for our leg lifts. So we'll start by bringing our arms alongside our body, bringing the hands down, planting the hands, finding that stability in our upper body. As you inhale, bend the right knee, and then we'll straighten that leg, lifting it up towards the sky. And as you exhale, bend the knee, and then slide it out long again. Coming into the left side now, inhale to left, bend that left knee, reach it up to the sky, and then exhale, bend the knee, straighten it back out. Continue with these, going at your own pace. At any time, you can take that bend out and just lift and lower the legs, alternating. Let's do one more on each side, just making sure you're balanced. And then lifting the right leg up towards the sky. Start walking our hands up our right leg, lifting our head and shoulders up off the mat. You can hang on behind your hamstring or maybe reach up towards your calf. Bend in the knees perfectly fine, reaching those elbows out towards the side, really pulling that hamstring in. The straight leg grounded into the earth. Breathing into your hamstring. As you keep your hands and your hamstring where they are, start to drop the shoulders and the head down onto the mat. Maybe close your eyes here as you come back to your breath, really feeding your hamstring with some prana life energy with your breaths. Maybe releasing on your exhale if there's anything, tension or anything that you're feeling like you need to release. Two more breaths here. Then as you bend that right knee, hugging it into your chest, you can grab a hold of the front of the shin. You can find stillness or maybe rock it side to side, finding circles or maybe just side to side movement. And then release the hands from the leg. As you bring those hands by your side, pressing those palms into the mat, reaching that leg up to the sky, and then exhale to slowly lower that leg down, leading with your heel. Inhale, left leg reaches up to the sky. And then start to walk your hands up the hamstring, or maybe bring your hands up to the calf. Elbows reaching out to the side. Breathing into your hamstring here. Maybe noticing if one feels a little tighter than the other. And as you keep your hands and your leg where it is, slowly start to lower the shoulders and the head back to the mat. And then we'll just hang out here in our hamstring stretch for a few more breaths. Breathing life and energy into your hamstring. And maybe exhaling to release any tension. Bend through that left knee, releasing the hands, grabbing a hold of the shin, pulling the knee into your chest. You can find stillness or maybe rock side to side or make some circles. And find some stillness here, keeping the leg where it is, releasing the hands, planting those hands alongside the body, palms down. We'll lift that left leg up long and straight, and then exhale, lead with that heel as you slowly lower the leg down. Beautiful. We'll come into some double leg lifts now. So your arms will either stay alongside your body, those hands pressing into the mat, or you can make that diamond shape and bring your hands underneath your body. Arms stay straight. Squeezing your legs together on an inhale, lifting your legs up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, slowly lower the legs down, finding your edge. And then on an inhale, lifting them back up again. Taking a few more like this, going at your own pace. So you might find your edge is maybe when you start to get a little wobbly, or maybe your lower back starts to lift off the mat. Let's take one more lift. And then on your next lower, just lower them slowly all the way down to the mat. Resting them down, coming into our second mini Savasana of the day. Totally relaxing here, releasing, closing through the eyes. See if you can find that one focal point to focus on during your mini Shavasana, your breath or an intention, maybe the mantra Om. Just bring your awareness back to your body. Slowly start reawakening, wiggling the fingers or toes. Turn your head side to side. When you feel ready to transition, bending the knees, hugging your knees into your chest. We're going to make our way back up to seated. You could rock and roll a couple of times if you'd like, or just come up on the first try. We'll plant those feet when we arrive upright. We're finding boat pose here. So hands will come behind the hamstrings here. Roll the shoulders down and back, lock them in so we have that nice straight spine. And then just start to fall back as you find that nice balancing point on your sit bones. You could stay here, maybe start to lift one foot, maybe both feet. Maybe you release your hands. Other versions could be straightening through the legs or reaching the arms overhead, finding whatever version works for you. Take a couple more breaths here. Take a deep inhale. And as we exhale, lower down. You can hug those knees into your chest, bringing the chin into your chest. As you take an inhale, rising that chest forward, lifting the head. And then exhale, rounding through the spine, chin into chest. If this feels good, we can do one more on an inhale, lift the chest and chin. And then exhale, curl back into your ball. Inhale to find that neutral spine, releasing the hands. On an inhale, right arm will reach up. And as we exhale, thread it through, grabbing a hold of that left ankle, bringing it over towards that right hip. Our top foot will lift up and bring it to the outside of that left leg. If this feels too much, bugs everywhere. You can straighten that front leg if that feels better. And we'll find a twist here. So we'll inhale, bring that right arm up. And exhale, planting it behind us. On an inhale, left arm comes up. And then exhale, twisting a little deeper, hooking that elbow to the outside of that knee. If this doesn't feel accessible, you could just hug that knee in. You could play around with this left hand if you'd like, maybe straightening through the arm, maybe finding a mudra, bringing the thumb to the forefinger. Think about inhaling to lengthen and exhale to twist. Take another deep inhale and an exhale. On your next inhale, we'll unwind, bringing those arms up to the sky, moving nice and slow. And as we exhale, we'll find that counter twist, just placing our hands over to the left, maybe applying a little body pressure to it. And then inhale, we'll just bring ourselves back to neutral, grabbing a hold of this top leg, grabbing the ankle and the knee, start rocking it out. And as we're rocking this top leg out, you can bring that bottom leg out so it's parallel to the short edge of your mat. And then when you're feeling ready, maybe planting this knee or ankle on your knee. If this feels like too much, straighten that bottom leg coming into figure 4, or you could come onto your back and pull in for figure 4 that way. Woo. And just knowing that every day is different. Every time you come to your mat, your body's different. Some days this stretch might feel great. Other days you might need to take another option. Perfectly normal. You can sit up nice and tall here. If you have a lot of space here, you're welcome to fill it if that feels good for you. Otherwise, you can just leave it. Sitting up nice and tall, you can stay seated or you can start to fold forward, walking those hands forward, maybe out in front. We will be holding this for a few more breaths. This can be a pretty intense pose. So just honoring your body and wherever it is this morning. Our hips tend to hold a lot of emotional, energetic things that we might need to let go of or might want to let go of or might just be ready to let go of. So if something comes up for you, perfectly natural. Let's take about 3 more breaths. And wherever you are, as if you're folded forward, you can start to walk yourself back up. If you were in your figure 4, maybe start to come back up to your seat as we uncross our legs. And then just moving nice and slow, finding some movement here. So whatever that looks like for you, you could bicycle out the legs, maybe just bounce the legs back and forth, or maybe find those windshield wipers. And when you're feeling ready, we're going to come into another boat pose. So we'll sit up nice and tall, feet are planted, knees bent, lock those shoulders down and back, nice straight spine. Hands can come behind the legs as you start to slowly come back and find that nice balancing point on your sit bones. Maybe you stay here, maybe you start to lift a leg or two. Maybe you release the hands, finding the same version or maybe a different version than you did the first time. Beautiful concentration, feeling those abs. Let's take 2 more breaths. Take a deep inhale. And as we exhale, bring those knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice squeeze. And we'll inhale to find that neutral spine. Releasing the hands down by the side. We'll inhale, left arm reaches up. And as we exhale, thread it through, grabbing that right ankle, bringing it over towards the left hip. And then we can bring this left foot on top, planting this foot on the ground. So again, if you want to straighten that bottom leg, go for it. We're looking to have both sit bones pretty equally onto the mat. If that's not something that's working for you, bringing that bottom leg out straight is great. We'll inhale, bring the left arm up, and then exhale, twist a little bit, planting it behind us. Inhale, the right arm comes up, and then we'll exhale, twist over to the right, hooking that right elbow on the outside of that leg, or perhaps you just hug it in. If you are having that elbow hooked, you can maybe play around with a mudra, maybe straighten the hand, the arm, whatever connects for you as we twist, looking over your left shoulder. Take another breath here. And as you inhale, we'll unwind, bringing our arms up to the sky. And then exhale, counter twist, bringing those hands down to the mat, applying a little bit of pressure. And then we'll work our way back up, coming back to neutral. As we take this top leg, we'll find those little baby cradles here as we start to rock it back and forth. You can bring this bottom leg parallel to the short edge of your mat. And then when you feel ready, planting that ankle over your wrist or your knee. So ankle's over knee, your knee is over the other ankle. Again, finding that figure 4 stretch if that feels better on this side. Filling the space here if you'd like, or just leaving it. You could stay sitting up nice and tall, or maybe start to walk the hands forward as you take a forward fold. Wherever you are is perfect. Flexing through the feet here if you are in your, if you're in your figure 4 or if you're in the stacked fire log, flexing those feet. And then we'll take about 5 more deep breaths here. Wherever you are, whatever version you took, we will meet back in a seated position, just moving nice and slow, uncrossing the legs, Finding that movement here, whatever that looks like for you. Bicycles, windshield wipers. And then we'll straighten our legs out, finding our forward fold here. You can have as much of a bend in your knees as you need. You could even stick props underneath your knees if you'd like. Sitting up nice and tall, you can pull the flesh away, finding that nice tall sit bones. And as you inhale, arms will reach up to the sky, biceps by the ears. As you slowly exhale, start to fold forward, moving nice and slow, stopping about halfway to take another inhale to lengthen a little bit more. And then exhale, fold all the way down. Hands can come by your sides. You can come to your ankles, knees, feet, wherever they happen to land is perfect. Round through the spine, let the head hang. Take some breaths here. Coming back to your breath. Maybe back to your intention. New beginnings. Another deep breath here. And on your next inhale, we'll slowly rise up, bringing those arms with you, arms alongside the biceps by the ears. And then as we exhale, float those hands down by your side. We'll set up for our reverse tabletop. We can start by finding that alignment with our hands, dropping the elbow down, and wherever that elbow lands, bringing that hand back to that spot. Fingers are pointing down towards your feet, doing the same on the opposite side. Bending through the knees, planting those feet on the mat. And then when you're ready on an inhale, we'll lift up, lifting the hips up to the sky, finding that nice long line of energy from the knees up to the neck. Your head can reach back if you'd like. You can come into incline plane if that feels good by reaching one leg out and then the other. We'll take one more inhale. And as we exhale, tuck the chin, coming back down onto your mat. Beautiful. So we bring our legs back in, planting our hands, shooting our legs out into our plank pose. Coming all the way down onto our bellies, however you'd like to get there. You could come slowly or just come on down, however feels good. Bringing one cheek to the mat, arms can come by your side. Take a breather, take a few breaths here. When you feel ready, we'll start by lifting the head up, bringing the forehead down towards the mat. As we bend the knees, feet up towards the sky, arms are going to come by your side, palms are facing towards your body. Exhale all the air out of your lungs. And on an inhale, we'll lift through the head, chest, arms, and maybe legs come off the ground, even if it's just a couple inches. Keeping your gaze down at your mat so you have that nice long spine. So this is our free hand bow. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, lower everything down, bringing the opposite cheek to the mat, taking a few breaths here. We'll find bow one more time with the option to find bound bow this time. So we'll start by bringing your forehead, lifting your head, so looking down towards your mat, bending through the feet. If you'd like to find bound bow, reach your hands back, grabbing the tops of the feet. And then as you exhale all the air out of your lungs, inhale to lift, lifting the chest, lifting the head, lifting the legs, pressing the feet into the hands. And again, your head's looking down towards the end of your mat, so you have that nice, tall, straight spine. Let's take another deep inhale together. And exhale, releasing everything back down to the mat. Bringing those hands underneath your shoulders as you press back into child's pose. Your knees can be as wide as you'd like. You could even bring your knees together if you'd like and just fold your body over your knees. Sending some breath and some love to your low back here. Now from here, we are going to find headstand. So if headstand is in your practice and you can safely come into it on your own, please feel free. If you'd like to just stay in child's pose throughout this practice, you're more than welcome to. We usually will cue legs up the wall. If that's something that you'd like to do, you could always come to a tree or maybe just come onto your back and imagine that there's a wall there and you can just pick your legs up to the sky. If you'd like to flow through the options of headstand, we'll start in our child's pose by grabbing opposite elbows just to find our correct alignment. And then releasing the hands, interlacing the fingers, making that little basket. As you start to lift the hips up, allow your head to kind of hover in this little basket that you've made. So feeling free to stay here if this feels good for you. Or maybe start to lower the head down and we'll allow the crown of the head to rest on the mat. We're not applying too much pressure to the crown of the head. We want to press into our forearms. From here, you could curl the toes and lift the hips up to the sky. Again, pressing into the forearms. There's a little weight in the head. Maybe start walking the feet up towards your face. Maybe you stay here. Or maybe you start lifting one leg and then the other. Just playing around here. When you're done with headstand or whatever version you're taking, we'll all meet in child's pose. Take about 3 more breaths in our child's pose. And when you're ready, slowly bringing yourself up from child's pose. Taking the legs out to the side. We're going to come all the way onto our backs. We'll be on our backs for the rest of practice. If there's anything you need to have close by, go ahead and grab it as we slowly lower on down. Once you get to your back, you can hug your knees in, maybe rock side to side. And we're going to find our shoulder stand coming through plow first. So we'll start by bringing the hands down by our side, palms down, knees are bent. As you start to kick the legs back towards the back of your mat, your feet might come all the way to the ground or maybe they hover, keeping your head straight, looking up at the sky. If you need to look around at any point, please come out of it first, because we want to protect our necks here. Then coming into shoulder stand from here, we'll bring our hands to our low back, fingers pointing up as we start to lift one leg towards the sky and then the other. You can find stillness here or maybe some movement. We'll stay in shoulder stand for a few more breaths. If you'd like to come out of it early, just making sure you come out of it through plow pose first. then releasing the hands. The feet come back into plow, hands come back down by the sides. You slowly lower back down. And then again, maybe bringing those knees in, rocking side to side a couple times. Releasing the feet to the mat, knees are bent. We'll find bridge pose. So feet are hip width distance. Arms are by your side. If you'd like to find supported bridge, having that block close by. We'll inhale to press our heels into the mat, lift those hips up towards the sky. If you're finding supported, you can grab that block and slide it under your sacrum area. You could also rock one shoulder underneath and then the other, clasping your hands underneath. And we'll stay here for a couple more breaths wherever you're at. Take an inhale, release those hands if they were underneath you, or remove the block off to the side. As you exhale, start to lower the back down. And if it feels good, you can hug those knees in, rock side to side a couple times. We'll find bridge one more time with the option to come into wheel. So finding bridge, whatever version you'd like. You can press your heels into the mat as you lift those hips up to the sky. If you'd like to find wheel pose here, you can safely come into it on your own. Go ahead. If you'd like to try it, you'll bring your hands up by your ears. Fingertips are pointing down towards your toes, and then pressing into the hands, lifting the upper back and the head. And then whether you're in wheel or bridge, we'll all come down and meet on our backs together. Beautiful. Bringing those knees in, rocking side to side, finding happy baby if that feels good for you. Reaching the feet up towards the sky, grabbing a hold of the outsides of the feet. Arms are in the insides of the legs. You can rock side to side a couple times. Maybe smile. Then release your happy baby, bringing those knees back in. As you reach your arms out to either T or cactus, we'll find our spinal twist. You can bring those legs up to tabletop. As you slowly start to lower the legs down to the right side, and then come down to the mat or the grass. Your gaze can gently turn to the opposite side. And enjoying your spinal twist here, detoxifying. Enjoying the nice soft breeze on your skin. Enjoying the sounds of the leaves rustling. Maybe the music. As you inhale, start to bring the legs back through center. As the gaze comes back through center, taking a moment to hug those knees in and rock side to side to realign that spine before coming into the opposite side. When you're ready, releasing those arms back down to T or cactus, legs come up to tabletop. As they slowly lower down to the left side, resting on the earth. As your gaze turns to the opposite side. And then inhale, legs come back through center, gaze comes back through center. You can hug your knees in here, taking any other movements that feel good for you before we find our final Savasana. When you're ready for that final Savasana, finding a comfortable position, reaching those legs out on your mat. Arms can come by your side, palms up or palms down, whatever feels good for you. If it doesn't feel good on your low back to lay with legs straight, you can always bend the knees, bringing the feet wide on the mat as your knees fall in toward one another. Finding your most comfortable position here. As we go into some progressive muscular relaxation, we'll start with the lower half of the body, taking the toes and the ankles and the feet and the calves and the quads and just scrunching all of those muscles of the lower body. Take a deep inhale, and then on your exhale, releasing those muscles, relaxing everything in the lower body, sinking into your space. And we'll work to the upper part of the body, so scrunching the fists, the fingers, the arms, the biceps, the triceps, the chest, the belly. Scrunch everything up so tight that you can just lift off your mat. Take a deep inhale, and then exhale, release, releasing everything down. Moving up to your face, scrunching up your face, your jaw, your eyes, your nose, scrunching it all up, taking a deep inhale. And then as you exhale, release, releasing those muscles. And now we'll do this with our entire body, clenching up all the muscles from your toes all the way to your crown, scrunching, scrunching. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, relax and release. Release into your mat, into your space, into the earth. You are relaxed. You are supported. You are safe. Enjoy these last few moments of Savasana in silence. Using those tools if your mind starts to wander, bringing your awareness back to your breath, or maybe your mantra or intention. And I will guide you out when it's time. awareness back to your body. Back to your breath. Gently start reawakening. You can begin with the fingers and the toes, maybe some gentle movement. Maybe inviting some deeper breaths into the body. Maybe turning your head side to side. Perhaps a full body stretch. Whenever you feel ready, rolling onto either your right or left side, whatever feels good for you. Coming into fetal pose, knees bent. You can use your arm as a pillow. Taking a few breaths here. Whenever you feel ready to reawaken, just gently using your arms to bring yourself back to seated. You can keep your eyes closed or have a soft gaze. We'll end practice in the place where we began. Nice tall spine, slight tuck of the chin. Hands can come to heart center as your thumbs press against your chest. And we'll end our practice just as we began with the sound of Om. If you'd like to join in, feel free or just listen. Start by taking a cleansing breath. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll inhale to Om.